Chapter 1. The Box in the Attic. Lyra Mendoza had always believed that her grandfather's attic was a realm of forgotten things, dusty shelves, old fishing rods, and broken clocks that hadn't ticked in decades. It was her private sanctuary of mystery, even though she rarely ventured there. But this summer, something pulled her up the narrow wooden stairs with more urgency than usual. The heat of the day had crept into the corners of the house, and the creaking of the steps beneath her bare feet sounded louder than usual in the stillness. Her grandfather was napping downstairs, the soft hum of the electric fan lulling him into dreams. The air smelled faintly of mangoes from the basket ripening on the kitchen table, mingling with the distinct scent of varnish from the old woodwork. Lyra pulled the attic door open. A whoosh of warm, musty air greeted her, making her wrinkle her nose. She took a breath, squared her shoulders, and climbed the last few steps. Sunlight beamed through a small, circular window, illuminating floating dust like golden snowflakes. It made the place look magical. She ducked beneath a low beam and began her search. "All right, let's find something cool," she whispered to herself. Boxes were stacked haphazardly along the far wall, labeled with faded ink. Christmas, 1992. Mom's, school things, old tools. She opened one filled with sepia-toned photographs. Another held tangled fishing lines and rusty hooks. Some boxers held letters with dates from the 1940s and pressed flowers in between their folds. She found an old globe, its surface cracked with age, and spun it absent-mindedly as she glanced around the room. Something about the light, the silence, the dusted made her feel like she was standing on the edge of something important. Just as she was about to give up, a glint of metal caught her eye from behind a stack of canvases leaning against the far wall. She pushed them aside, revealing a medium-sized trunk, unlike the others. It was made of dark wood, reinforced with brass corners, carved with simple stars, waves, and at its center, a compass. "What's this doing here?" she murmured. A strange hush settled over the room as she knelt in front of it. She reached for the latch, hesitating for a heartbeat. Then she flipped it open. A soft creak broke the silence. Inside was a small wooden box, more intricately carved than the trunk itself. She lifted it carefully. It was surprisingly cold to the touch. The lid was secured by a tiny brass hook. As she opened it, the attic seemed to dim, as if clouds passed over the sun outside. Inside the box lay a scroll of parchment. Lyra unrolled it delicately. The map was old edges torn, its surface browned with age. The lines were clear, a winding path through waves toward an island marked with an X at the top. In elegant script, it read, "Echo Island, where the sea remembers." Lyra's heart thumped. "This isn't just an old drawing," she breathed. "Okay." Her fingers traced the coastline drawn in looping ink. She gasped as a faint shimmer ran across the surface. "Is this glowing?" Then she noticed something strange, symbols in the margins she didn't recognize, and what looked like a compass rose that shimmered faintly when tilted in the light. This is something real. Suddenly, a floorboard creaked behind her. She whirled around, but nothing was there. Still, the hairs on her arms rose. The air had shifted. "Okay." She tucked the map into her backpack, casting a glance at the window where the light was now returning. As she turned to leave, the compass on the box flickered once with a pulse of light, then dimmed. Downstairs, her grandfather stirred in his sleep, as if he felt the change in the air. Lyra didn't notice. She was already halfway down the steps, her mind racing, unaware of what she had just awakened. Lyra made her way downstairs, the attic door closing with a soft click behind her.